Dr. Elena Santos stood motionless before the quantum terminal, her dark eyes fixed on the stream of decoded transmissions flooding her screen. After 15 years of working as Earth's leading xenolinguist, she had finally cracked the Galactic Federation's most secure encryption protocol. What she found made her blood run cold. Classification: Apex Predator Species. Designation: Maximum Containment Required. The words pulsed on her screen in the Federation's primary diplomatic language. Humanity exhibits dangerous levels of cognitive adaptation and technological acceleration. Current containment protocols proving inadequate. Elena's hands trembled as she scrolled through document after document. The Federation, Earth's supposed partners in galactic civilization for the past century, had been lying since first contact. They hadn't arrived on Earth to welcome humanity to the stars. They had come to contain them. The massive research complex beneath Olympus Mons hummed quietly around her as she dug deeper into the classified files. The Federation's true assessment of humanity painted a picture that mixed fear with fascination. Reports detailed how humans learned and adapted at rates that terrified them. Where other species took millennia to advance through technological ages, humanity had gone from steam engines to quantum computing in barely 2 centuries. Director Santos. Her eye assistant's voice was soft. The quantum scan detected unusual activity in Federation communication channels. They may have noticed the intrusion. Elena quickly initiated her prepared countermeasures, planting false data trails that would lead Federation investigators on wild goose chases through their own networks. She had prepared for this moment for months, but seeing the truth laid bare still shook her to her core. The Federation hadn't shared technology with humanity out of brotherhood. Every gift was carefully designed to limit and control Earth's development. Their educational exchanges weren't cultural programs, but intelligence-gathering operations. Even their trade agreements were elaborate chains, binding humanity into economic dependence. Elena transferred the decoded files to a quantum-encrypted drive and activated her emergency protocols. Within minutes, her discovery would reach a select group of Earth's leaders, people who had suspected the truth for years but lacked proof. Now they had it, and humanity's response would need to be perfect. She made her way through the facility's winding corridors, mind racing with implications. The Federation's reports revealed their fundamental mistake. They had judged humanity by their own glacial pace of evolution. Where Federation species took thousands of years to adapt to new challenges, humans did it in generations. What they saw as dangerous instability, humanity knew as survival. The high-speed elevator carried her to the surface facility, disguised as a geological research station. Through the reinforced windows, the Martian sunset painted the sky in shades of deep red. Humanity had reached Mars despite the Federation's careful restrictions, building hidden facilities like this one in plain sight. It was this kind of adaptation that terrified them. Her quantum communicator chirped, the secure channel used only by Earth's shadow government. Director Santos, is the data verified? The voice belonged to Admiral Chen, head of Earth's Covert Defense Initiative. Confirmed, sir. The Federation has classified us as an apex threat. Their containment protocols go back to first contact. Everything they've told us has been a lie. There was a moment of silence. Your assessment of their capabilities. Elena smiled grimly. They're more advanced than us in most areas, but they're stagnant. They haven't made any significant technological progress in over 10,000 years. They don't understand how to innovate anymore. They just maintain what they have. And their weaknesses: overconfidence, rigid thinking. They're so convinced of their superiority that they don't believe we could ever surprise them. And they've completely misunderstood human psychology. They think controlling us will make us docile. Instead, they've just made us more determined to break free. The Admiral finished. Very well. Initiate Protocol Prometheus. We've prepared for this possibility for decades. Now we'll show them why trying to cage humanity was their greatest mistake. Elena looked out at the Martian landscape again. Somewhere up there, Federation observation stations watched Earth's official space program, carefully documented every shuttle launch and satellite deployment. They had no idea about the quantum tunneling facilities buried under every human colony, or the revolutionary technologies Earth had developed in secret. The Federation thought they were containing a dangerous species. In reality, they had created exactly what they feared most: a humanity united against them, driven to exceed every limitation they tried to impose. Their careful controls had forced Earth to become more innovative, more secretive, and more advanced than they could imagine. As the sun set on Mars, Elena began the detailed briefing that would set Earth's response in motion. The Federation was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability. It was their absolute refusal to accept change, no matter how gilded they might be. The game of pretend compliance was over. Now it was time to show the galaxy why humanity had earned that apex predator classification, and the Federation would never see it coming. Commander Sarah Chen watched the holographic display as another successful test completed. Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, hidden from the Federation's watchful eyes, humanity's true technological revolution was taking shape. The quantum displacement drive hummed quietly in its containment chamber, defying everything the Federation thought they knew about physics. Power output is stable at 300% above Federation maximum, reported Dr. Marcus Wong, his face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the holographic readouts. They don't just lack this technology. They don't even believe it's possible. Sarah nodded, remembering her mother's words about the Federation's greatest weakness. They had stopped questioning their own limitations. For 10,000 years, they had been the undisputed masters of the galaxy, their technology considered the peak of possible achievement. They never imagined that a primitive species might find paths they had overlooked. "Status of Project Mirror?" she asked, turning to the other side of the massive underground facility. Here, hundreds of engineers and scientists worked on technology that would make humanity's revenge possible. Dr. Aisha Patel, head of quantum computing, stepped forward. "The quantum mimicry systems are ready. We can perfectly replicate any Federation technology while masking our actual capabilities. As far as their sensors are concerned, we're exactly where they want us, a century behind their level of development." This was humanity's greatest deception. While the Federation carefully monitored Earth's official technological progress, feeding them carefully controlled advances, humanity had been developing in entirely different directions. They hadn't tried to copy Federation technology. They had transcended it. "The Federation's annual inspection is in 3 days," Sarah reminded her team. "Everything needs to look exactly as they expect. Not a hint of what we've actually achieved." The inspection had once been a source of humiliation. Federation officials patting humanity on the head for their progress while ensuring they stayed safely contained. Now it was just another part of the masquerade, a chance to reinforce their underestimation. Later that day, Sarah joined a quantum-secured conference with Earth's Shadow Council. Representatives from every hidden facility across the solar system appeared as lifelike holograms, gathered to coordinate the next phase of humanity's response. "The Federation's containment protocols have actually worked in our favor," Director Santos explained, her hologram indicating various data points. "Their restrictions forced us to think creatively, to develop technologies they never considered. While they watched our official research, our real advances happened in directions they never thought to monitor." Admiral Chen's hologram nodded. "Their psychological profile of humanity is fundamentally flawed. They believe that by controlling our development, they can make us accept a subordinate role in the galaxy. Instead, they've created a pressure cooker of human innovation and determination." Sarah pulled up her own reports. "The quantum displacement fleet is ready. We've built and hidden over 300 ships using technology the Federation can't detect. Their sensors literally cannot see what we've created because it operates on principles they abandoned millennia ago. And the Federation remains blind to all of this." Someone asked. "Completely," Director Santos confirmed. Their surveillance focuses entirely on traditional technological development paths. They're watching our official space program launch chemical rockets while we've mastered quantum tunneling. They're monitoring our computer development while we've created systems that make their quantum computers look primitive. Sarah highlighted a particular section of her report. The most important advantage we have is psychological. The Federation species all developed slowly, taking thousands of years to make technological leaps. They cannot comprehend how quickly humans can innovate and adapt. Their containment protocols are designed to slow a process they think should take centuries. The Council discussed the final preparations. Everything had to be perfect. The Federation had spent a century carefully containing humanity, never realizing they were actually creating exactly what they feared most, a species that had developed in ways they couldn't predict or control. Remember, Admiral Chen concluded, when we reveal ourselves, it must be complete and overwhelming. The Federation needs to understand not just that we've broken free of their containment, but that their entire understanding of humanity and their place in the galaxy was wrong. As the meeting ended, Sarah walked through her facility one last time. Federation inspectors would soon walk these halls, seeing exactly what they expected, a struggling human colony, obediently using their approved technology. They would never guess that beneath the ice, humanity had built something that would shake the foundations of their galactic order. The Federation thought they were being clever, containing humanity's development to prevent them from becoming a threat. In doing so, they had created something far more dangerous than they could imagine. A humanity that had developed in secret, unbound by their assumptions and limitations. Soon, very soon, they would learn the price of underestimating human potential. And Sarah would be there to see their carefully maintained illusion of superiority shatter. Ambassador Michael Okoro smoothed his ceremonial robes as he prepared to enter the Federation's Grand Council chamber. After 20 years of representing Earth to the galaxy's ruling body, he had perfected his role, the humble diplomat from a developing world, grateful for the Federation's guidance. Today that mask would serve its final purpose. Behind him, his aide Maria Torres carried a quantum-encrypted tablet disguised as a primitive datapad. It contained humanity's most powerful weapon, not their hidden technology, but information that would shatter the Federation's carefully maintained political balance. The Arcturian delegation is already trying to catch your attention, Maria murmured, noting the tall, crystalline beings attempting to make eye contact. They're nervous about the trade agreement. Michael allowed himself a small smile. The Arcturians had no idea they were playing their part in humanity's carefully orchestrated plan. For the past 5 years, Earth had been quietly exploiting fractures in the Federation's political structure, turning species against each other while maintaining a facade of naive diplomacy. The chamber itself was a monument to Federation pride. A vast amphitheater floating in space, with representatives from 10,000 worlds gathered to celebrate their supposed unity. The Federation's High Council sat at the center, the blue-skinned predecessors who had guided galactic civilization for millennia. Ambassador Okoro, High Counselor Vexna greeted him with their usual condescending warmth. Earth's development reports continue to impress us. Your species' dedication to following our guidance is commendable. We are honored by your praise, Michael replied, bowing deeply. Inside, he marveled at their blindness. The Federation was so convinced of their superiority that they saw only what they expected to see. The session began with its usual ceremonial procedures. Michael used the time to observe the political currents flowing through the chamber. The Arcturians were arguing with the Centaurian Alliance over resource rights. The Rigelian Confederation was pushing for stronger military presence in their sector. A dozen smaller conflicts simmered beneath the surface of Federation unity, all of them carefully nurtured by Earth's diplomatic corps. The Council recognizes Earth's representative, Vexna announced. This was the moment they had prepared for. Michael rose, his expression carefully neutral. Honored Council, Earth comes before you with grave concerns about the distribution of educational resources in the Orient sector. It seemed like such a minor issue. Exactly the kind of petition Earth was expected to raise. But as Michael spoke, Maria was quietly transmitting encrypted data packets to specific delegations. Data that proved the Federation had been playing favorites, manipulating species against each other for millennia. The Arcturians received proof that their recent trade difficulties were artificially created by Federation policy. The Rigelians learned that their security concerns had been deliberately engineered. Each species received precisely targeted information that confirmed their worst suspicions about Federation control. Michael continued his seemingly innocent petition, watching as the data spread through the chamber. Delegates began whispering to each other, their facades of unity cracking. The Federation's High Council, focused on humoring Earth's simple request, didn't notice the growing tension. Furthermore, Michael continued, "We request clarification on the Federation's species classification protocols." That caught Vexna's attention. Their blue skin darkened slightly, the equivalent of a frown. "Those protocols are not open for discussion, Ambassador. They are essential to maintaining galactic order." "Of course," Michael said smoothly. "Earth would never question the Federation's wisdom. We merely seek to understand our place in the greater community." The real message was spreading through the chamber. Species after species was discovering their own classification, learning how the Federation had labeled them, contained them, manipulated their development. The whispers grew louder. Perhaps, the Arcturian delegate suddenly interrupted. "All species should have access to their classification data." "The Council does not recognize," Vexna began, but more voices joined in. "Why are the predecessors the only ones with access to these protocols? How many other policies have been hidden from us?" Michael stood quietly as the chamber erupted into debate. The Federation's High Council tried to restore order, but centuries of carefully hidden resentment were boiling to the surface. Their perfect system of control was unraveling. "This session is suspended," Vexna announced, their voice sharp with worry. "All delegates will return to their quarters until order is restored." As the chamber descended into chaos, Michael and Maria made their way to their diplomatic shuttle. Once inside the secure vessel, Maria activated their quantum communications. "Phase 3 completed," Michael reported. "The Federation's political structure is destabilizing exactly as predicted. Their own species are questioning their authority." "Excellent," Admiral Chen's voice replied. "Their attention will be focused on containing the political fallout. They won't notice our final preparations." Michael watched through the shuttle's windows as emergency meetings were called. Diplomatic corps scrambled to contain the damage. The Federation was about to learn that humanity's revenge wouldn't come through military might alone. They had spent a century underestimating human intelligence, human cunning, human ability to turn their own system against them. The real battle was about to begin, and the Federation still didn't realize they had already lost. Admiral David Chen watched from the bridge of the quantum stealth carrier Prometheus as the Federation's emergency response fleet arrived at Earth. Their massive ships, gleaming with supposedly superior technology, moved into defensive positions around the planet. They had come to restore order, to remind humanity of their place. They had no idea they were already surrounded. "All human ships report ready," Captain Lisa Rodriguez announced, her hologram floating beside his command chair. 300 vessels in position, completely undetectable to Federation sensors. "Status of Federation communications?" David asked, watching the alien fleet's formation. "They're in chaos, sir. The political revelations from the Council chamber have thrown their command structure into disarray. Half their species are demanding answers about the classification protocols, and the predecessors are losing control of the narrative." Perfect. Humanity's revenge wouldn't just break their physical power. It would shatter the very foundations of their authority. "High Counselor Vexna is demanding to speak with Earth's leadership," Lisa reported. "They're threatening containment protocols if we don't comply." David allowed himself a small smile. "Let's accept their call. It's time they learned exactly what they've been trying to contain." The holographic communication matrix activated, revealing Vexna's impressive figure. The High Counselor's blue skin was dark with anger, their multiple eyes fixed on David with centuries of assumed authority. "This is your final warning," Vexna announced. "Earth will stand down and submit to Federation authority, or we will be forced to demonstrate why our leadership has endured for 10,000 years." David rose from his command chair, his expression calm. "High Counselor, I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. We're not rebelling against your authority. We're simply showing you that it never truly existed." He nodded to his communications officer. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden quantum technology activated. Federation sensors suddenly detected hundreds of installations they had never known existed. Research centers, shipyards, energy plants, all operating on principles their science had dismissed as impossible. What is this?" Vexna's composure cracked as reports flooded in. "These readings cannot be correct. Your species is not capable of surpassing you," David interrupted. "Of finding paths your rigid thinking couldn't imagine. You spent a century trying to contain us, never realizing you were forcing us to evolve in ways you couldn't predict or control." Around the Federation fleet, space itself seemed to shimmer as humanity's stealth ships revealed themselves. Vessels using technology that defied Federation physics surrounded their supposed superiors. "Your containment protocols were based on a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature," David continued. "You thought restricting our development would make us docile. Instead, you created an environment of intensive innovation. Every barrier you placed in our path forced us to find new ways forward." Federation ships were moving now, trying to establish defensive positions, but their sensors couldn't lock onto the human vessels. Their weapons, designed to overpower any known technology, couldn't target ships that operated on completely different principles. "This is impossible," Vexna insisted. "We monitored every aspect of your development. We controlled every technological advance." "You monitored what we wanted you to see," David corrected. "You watched our official programs, our public research, never imagining we could develop in directions your science had abandoned millennia ago. Your own arrogance blinded you." As if to demonstrate, a human destroyer phased through a Federation battleship's shields as if they didn't exist, positioning itself directly alongside the massive vessel. The Federation crew could only watch, helpless, as their most advanced defenses proved meaningless. "Humanity does not require your guidance, High Counselor," David stated. "We never did. But we're not here for conquest or revenge. We're here to offer you a choice." He transmitted a detailed proposal to the Federation fleet. "Your society can continue to stagnate, clinging to power through control and suppression, or you can join us in actually advancing galactic civilization. Your choice." Vexna stared at the data, their worldview crumbling. The Federation's perfect system of control, maintained for millennia, had just been shattered by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Around them, more Federation ships were discovering their weapons were useless, their shields meaningless against human technology. Centuries of assumed superiority were dissolving in minutes. "Why?" Vexna finally asked. "Why show us this now? Why not simply destroy us?" David's expression softened slightly. "Because humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our adaptability. It's our ability to imagine a better future, even for those who try to cage us. The galaxy deserves more than stagnation under your control. It deserves to grow, to evolve, to reach for new possibilities." The Federation fleet hung motionless in space, surrounded by humanity's hidden power, facing a choice that would reshape galactic civilization forever. 1 year after humanity's revelation shook the galaxy, Dr. Elena Santos stood in the newly constructed Galactic Unity Center on Mars, watching representatives from 1,000 worlds mingle freely. The Federation's rigid hierarchy had been replaced by something new, a true partnership of species working together to advance civilization. Still hard to believe sometimes, isn't it? Dr. Marcus Wong joined her at the observation window, looking out at the massive quantum ships now openly docked around Mars. Federation vessels flew alongside them, many already incorporating human innovations into their design. The Federation actually adapting to change. Elena smiled. That might be our greatest achievement. The transition hadn't been entirely smooth. Some Federation hardliners had refused to accept the new reality, clinging to their old beliefs about superiority and control. But faced with humanity's overwhelming technological advantage and the support of their own member species, they had ultimately been forced to accept change. Ambassador Okoro's report just came in from the predecessor homeworld. Marcus said, checking his quantum tablet. The last of the classification protocols have been dismantled. No more secret containment policies, no more artificial limitations on development. Elena nodded, remembering the classified files she had discovered that started it all. And the research sharing program. Exceeding expectations. Turns out when you let species develop naturally and work together, amazing things happen. The Arcturians have already combined their crystalline technology with our quantum principles to create something entirely new. That was humanity's true victory, not just breaking free of Federation control, but transforming galactic civilization itself. Where the Federation had maintained power through restriction and separation, Earth had shown the benefits of cooperation and unrestricted innovation. Director Santos. A young aide approached. The Galactic Council is ready for your presentation on the new quantum tunneling network. Elena made her way to the council chamber, so different from the old Federation hierarchy. Instead of towering above lesser species, the predecessors now sat as equals among them. Even Vexna, who had chosen to stay on as a regular council member, had learned to embrace change. The network will connect all member worlds, Elena explained to the assembled representatives, displaying a holographic map of the galaxy, instant communication, unrestricted travel, free exchange of ideas and technology. Everything the Federation feared is exactly what will drive us forward. She could see the excitement in their eyes. Species that had been contained and controlled for millennia, now free to reach their full potential. The Rigelians were already establishing new colonies using human quantum drive technology. The Centaurians had revolutionized medicine by combining their biotechnology with Earth's quantum computing. There will be challenges, Elena acknowledged. Rapid advancement brings risks, but we face them together, as equals, not through control and suppression. After the presentation, Elena met with Admiral Chen in her private office. The Admiral had aged in the past year, the stress of managing humanity's revelation taking its toll, but his eyes were bright with satisfaction. The Federation's containment protocols were based on fear, he said, looking out at the bustling spaceport. Fear of change, fear of losing control, fear of species developing in unexpected ways. They never understood that those uncertainties are exactly what drive progress. And now? Elena asked. Now we're seeing what the galaxy can really achieve. Every species bringing their unique perspectives and abilities, working together instead of being held back. Humanity didn't just break free. We showed everyone a better way forward. The quantum comlink chimed, displaying urgent messages from across the galaxy. Not threats or demands, but requests for cooperation, sharing of discoveries, proposals for joint ventures. Species that had once been locked in Federation-enforced competition now reached out to each other freely. You know what the Federation never understood about humans, Elena said, reading through the messages. They thought our adaptability was a threat, something to be contained. They never realized it was actually a gift. The ability to imagine and create new possibilities, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Outside her window, ships from across the galaxy moved through Mars' quantum gates, carrying ideas and innovations that would have been suppressed under the old order. The Federation's careful control had been replaced by something far more powerful, the unlimited potential of species working together, unrestricted by artificial limitations. Humanity had gotten their revenge, not through destruction, but by transforming the very civilization that had tried to cage them. They had shown the galaxy that true strength comes not from control, but from the courage to embrace change and growth. As the sun set on Mars, casting long shadows across the Unity Center, Elena thought about how far they had come. The Federation had tried to contain humanity's potential, never realizing they were actually creating the force that would revolutionize the galaxy. The stars seemed brighter now, filled with possibilities that even humanity hadn't imagined yet. They had broken their chains, but more importantly, they had shown the galaxy how to break free of its own limitations. The future was uncertain, unlimited, full of potential, exactly as it should be.